I'm Erin with Five Parks Yoga. Thank you so much for joining me for class today. Today's class is a Yin Fusion class. So the class will incorporate poses from the Yin tradition, Hatha and Restorative Yoga. So it's a combo. It's not any one particular thing. The objective of this class is for deep release. So in these postures, you don't necessarily want to go right away to like your 90%, 100% max. You want to go to a place where you feel sensation, obviously always never any pain, but you want to get to a place where you can actually release into the posture, give your muscles some room to relax. And we're going to continue to work with the breath throughout this practice and really use it as a guide. So if you find that in any particular posture you're holding your breath or your breath gets short, back off of the posture so that you can maintain long, slow, steady inhales and exhales. This class is great for props if you have them. Some blocks. I don't have a yoga bolster or a yoga towel here, so I've made some things around the house work for me. A strap, I'm not sure if we'll use that, but if you have those things, have them handy because they can assist us in holding the postures. So this class is being filmed at the beginning of October. So here in Costa Rica right now, it's rainy season or green season. In my home state of Colorado, it's fall and the weather is changing. And with that change of seasons, with the change in the weather, oftentimes we transition internally also. So let this class be an opportunity for some introspection and not just deep release in your body, but deep release in your mind. So during our meditation, we're going to take a moment to just kind of visualize things that you want to just release. And in that, we also want to visualize things that we want to bring in as well. So I hope you enjoy this class. If you have not yet, please subscribe to my channel. And if you're interested in joining me on a yoga retreat, check out my website for more details. So we're going to start in a seated meditation today. In our seated meditation, we want to be able to maintain an upright spine. So if that seems to pose a challenge for you, this would be a great place to use a block to prop your hips up. So if your hips are tight or you have any discomfort for any reason, just go ahead and prop yourself up on a block. Find a comfortable cross-legged position, either leg in front, rest your hands on your knees and lengthen through the crown of your head so that your shoulders are stacked over your hips. Close your eyes and we'll start with some breathing for our seated meditation. So coming into a cleansing breath together, breathe in through your nose, hold it at the top. Let it go through your mouth. Close your lips. Begin to breathe in and out through your nose and develop your own pattern and pace. Just working toward making each inhale and each exhale a little bit longer, slower, and smoother than the one before. Take this time to settle into your breath, to calm your mind, and to really feel into your body. Just becoming aware of your physical body sitting here on your mat. And with each exhale, begin to visualize or think about something that you want to let go of. This can be a word or an image. Now with each inhale breath, begin to visualize or think about something that you want to bring in. Bring into your mind, bring into your heart, bring into your body. And let your inhale and exhale breath start to flow into one another. Now that you've established a steady breathing pattern, hopefully, try to maintain that rhythm throughout your practice. And we're going to start with some movement. You can continue to sit on your block or remove it out from underneath you. We're going to stay in our cross-legged position. Feel free to switch the cross of your legs if you'd like. And we're going to start by warming up the neck. So bring your hands off to either side, tend to your fingers. You're going to bring your left ear to your left shoulder, and you have the option here of taking your left hand to the top of your head and gently guiding your ear closer to your shoulder, or you can just have your hands on the floor for support. And switch sides. So bring your right ear to your right shoulder, and again, option to take your right hand to the top of your head, gently guide your ear a little bit closer to your shoulder as you reach those left fingertips out away from you. Come back to center, and then gently bring your chin toward your chest. It's okay if your chin doesn't touch your chest. You just want to feel a stretch in the back of your neck and your upper back. And then bring your chin back up and start to look up toward the ceiling. Getting a stretch through your neck, your throat. And come back through center. You're going to just begin to walk your fingers out in front of you and make this a gentle fold, so you can actually kind of round your upper back and bring your forehead down either onto a block. You can make some fists and stack them if you want, or you can rest your forehead all the way down on your mat and just release, let your arms be loose. And just feel the stretch in your low back and your hips. from here, you can just walk your hands and roll your way back up to a seated position. Make your way onto your hands and your knees for tabletop. And just stack your shoulders over your wrists and your hips over your knees. Let's take some cats and cows to continue to warm up the spine. So breathe in, coming into cow pose, arching your spine, and then breathe out, rounding into cat pose. And take these movements nice and slow and just enjoy the opening of the front and the back side of your body. One more cow, one more cat at your own pace. And come back to tabletop. We're going to take Anahatasana, heart-melting pose. So go ahead if you need to scoot a little bit further back on your mat so that you have some space. Keep your hips over your knees, walk your hands, your arms forward and a little bit wider than your shoulders, and release your chest toward the floor. Release your chin, forehead. Continue holding this position here, or if you'd like to take a different variation with your arms, you can take your elbows down onto the floor, connect the palms of your hands, and then bring your thumbs to the back of your head. So this is going to deepen the stretch in your triceps, the backs of your arms. And just visualize your heart softening, your chest opening. Release your hands if they are connected. And we're going to go right from this position into a little twist in your upper back. So thread the needle, but just keep that right arm extended and then slide your left arm underneath. Bring your left shoulder and your left ear onto your mat. So your hips stay in the same position they were. Just twisting the upper back. And switch sides now. So left arm extends long on your mat. You just slide your right arm underneath your left and come onto your right shoulder and your right ear. And bring your right arm forward. Now bring your knees a little bit wider so they're about mat distance apart. Your toes come to touch and come into child's pose. If your hips are really tight and you need a little support, you can take a bolster or a blanket underneath, like right to the crook of your knees, and sit back on your bolster. Or you can take embryo pose, bringing your knees together, rounding your spine, and bringing your arms alongside your body. Either way, you're gonna get a nice stretch in your low back and your hips, just depending on where you're feeling the tension today. So find that right pose for you. From your child's pose or your embryo pose, we're gonna come into a supported cobra pose. So if you have your props available, go ahead and grab them. Since I have like pseudo props, I'm gonna use my fake bolster and my fake blanket. You're gonna bring these right to basically where the bra line is, so right at the top of your ribs. You're gonna lay down on top, and then you wanna keep your head, your spine neutral. So either rest your forehead on a block, or you can make two fists, or you can just stack your hands and rest your forehead down. So you want your ribs lifted, but your forehead relaxed, your neck relaxed. From this position, we're gonna make our way to seal pose. So you're gonna just take your hands, again, about mat distance apart out in front of you. Keep your feet a little bit wider than hip distance apart, and then just press up to straight arms. Then reach through the crown of your head. And just hold here. All right, so if you have your props underneath you, go ahead and move them out of the way. We're gonna take a shoulder stretch now. So you're gonna bring your left arm either to a goalpost shape or straight out to capital T shape with your palm facing down. You're gonna bring your left ear onto your mat, your left or your right hand underneath your shoulder, and you're gonna roll in the direction of your left arm. So you can either just roll onto your side and just hug your knees a little bit in, or you can keep your left leg straight and bring your right leg up and over and plant your foot on the floor. And again, experiment with your left arm, either having it bent or straight. You can hear those sounds in the background, not the birds, but the other sound. Those are howler monkeys off in the distance. Okay, now switch sides. So roll back onto your stomach, extend your right arm to the right, either in a goalpost position or a capital T position with your palm facing down, left hand underneath your shoulder, your arm is bent. Rest your right ear on your mat and then roll to the right. Either kind of pull your knees in if this is enough of a stretch for you, or you can keep your right leg straight and bring your left leg up and over, planting your heel on your mat. And roll back onto your stomach. Press your way up to a tabletop position. We're gonna take some leg and more hip stretches here. So from your tabletop position, you can bring your right leg forward, bringing your knee directly over your ankle. Okay, and you have two choices here. So you can keep your left knee directly under your left hip if this feels like enough of a stretch, or you can start to scoot your left knee back a little bit more. And come up onto your knee with your hands, interlace your fingers. That's the sound of a howler monkey. Press your hands onto your knee and start to open your chest as you lift the crown of your head closer up to the ceiling, maybe even a slight arch in your upper back, looking up. And we're gonna take this into a twist. If you need to scoot your knee a little bit further in, that's an option as well. Bring your hands to your heart and you're gonna twist towards your left knee. Sorry, your right knee. So your left elbow is on your right knee, hands come toward your heart. Option, if this is a little bit too deep of a twist in this position, you can always rest your left hand on a block and just twist towards your knee. So make this posture work for you as you hold it and pay attention to your breath. And unwind from your twist. You're going to take your right foot out to the edge of your mat. Take your hands to the inside of your right foot. You can stay upright here or come down onto your forearms. If you're not already, come back up onto your hands. You're going to take your right toes, face them out at an angle. Keep your left hand on your mat and then take your right hand to your knee and start to roll onto the outer edge of your right foot as you press your knee open. Come back to center. You're going to walk your right foot across your mat toward the left edge and make your way to pigeon pose. So this would be a great place again for a block if your hips are tight, or a blanket underneath your right hip. To make the stretch deeper, if your hips are pretty open, bring your right shin toward parallel with the front of your mat. Make sure your left leg is extended out behind you. You can make your way down onto a block, blanket, or your fists. Five more deep breaths here. Press your way back up. You're going to take your left leg and slide it around. Bring it out to an angle. Bring your right foot to your left inner thigh. We're going to take a side bend here with a twist. If you want to, you can take your blocks and place them your block next to your left leg and set your left arm on top of your blocks. Reach your right arm up and across. Or You can take your left hand to your right knee, twist towards your right knee, reach your arm toward your right toes, or you can set your forearm down on the floor. So lots of options. Make your way out of your side bend, and now bring your right leg off in the other direction to an angle. So you're in a seated straddle splits position. Point your knees and your toes up. You can take a prop if you'd like to rest your forearms on as you hinge forward, or you can just walk your hands forward and just feel the stretch in your inner thighs. And 5 more deep breaths. And walk your hands back up. So we're gonna go through all those poses, but we're gonna go in reverse direction. So go ahead now and bring your left foot into your right inner thigh. We're gonna take that side bend first. So again, you can have blocks or your block by your right leg. You can prop your right arm onto your blocks as you side bend, lifting your left hand up and over. Try to keep your shoulder in line with your hip. Or you can place your hand on your knee or your forearm on the floor. Just feel the stretch in your left side now. Release from your side bend. We're moving from this position into half pigeon pose. So if you want to get into it in a different way, that's absolutely fine. But you're just going to take your right leg and reach it out behind you. Again, you can take a prop. if you need one, if your hip is tight, or maybe it's tighter on this side. Or you can start to work your left shin in the direction of parallel with the front of your mat. Just try to keep that right leg extended out behind you. You can come down onto a prop or your forearms or your fists. And 5 more deep breaths. Come up onto your hands. You're just going to slide that left shin underneath you and bring your left foot to the outer edge of your mat. Okay, we'll start with that twist first. So bring your left toes out to an angle. Keep your right hand planted on your mat, and you're going to bring your left hand to your left knee, roll onto the outer edge of your left foot, and start to press your knee open. So from here, bring both hands back to your mat. Point your left toes in the direction of forward, so you're in a wide-legged low lunge now. You can stay upright on your hands or prop blocks, or you can come down onto your forearms or your fists. Back up onto your hands if you're not already. You're going to bring your left foot and just heel toe it back to hip distance apart, so you're in a lunge position, a grounded lunge position. If you need to, you can scoot your right knee in so that your right hip comes over your right knee, or you can keep it in a more of an extended lunge position. We're going to take the twist first. So remember, you can have a block here and just twist in the direction of your left knee, or you can hook your elbow to the outside of your knee, connect the palms of your hands together, bring your thumbs toward your heart, just making it a little bit deeper but Listen to your body on this side and let your breath be your guide. So if you need to back out of it, if your breath feels short or tight, please do so. And release from your twist. I'm gonna now interlace your hands and take them to the top of your left leg. You can start to press your hands onto your knee as you straighten your arms, maybe lift your gaze. And release. Side's a little more intense for me. So you might notice that in your own body that one side holds a little more tension than the other. That's really normal. Just sit your hips back on your heels, rest your hands on your thighs, and just kind of give it a little shake side to side. And let's come into embryo pose. So if you didn't do embryo pose at the beginning of class, embryo pose, the knees and feet are together and you're just gonna round your spine and release your arms alongside your body, the tops of your arms flat to the floor. And just take a couple breaths here. And roll your way back up to seated. And we're gonna take another seated stretch. Come into butterfly pose. So bring the soles of your feet together. Bring your hands around your ankles. Press your elbows toward your knees and start to hinge forward from your hips. So we're gonna do 2 variations on this pose. So reaching the crown of your head forward. All right, from here, just bring your feet a little bit further forward so that your legs are more in a diamond shape. Now you're gonna walk your hands forward and round your back, and then just release your forehead toward your heels. You can use a block if you'd like to rest your forehead on. Or you can always use your hands. Walk your hands all the way back up. All right, we're gonna do the rest of our poses on our backs now. So we're gonna start with a supported fish pose. You have a couple options here. You can either use a bolster and place it along the length of your spine. Maybe you're gonna want a block for your head. You can just lay down, come into a cactus shape, extend your arms into, your legs straight out. Or you can use a block, place it right below your shoulder blades, rest down, and again, you can have another block for your head. So get yourself comfortable on your bolster or your blocks so that you can let gravity do its work to open your shoulders. You do not want any tension in your neck. If you do have a block underneath your head, try to avoid having it on your neck and your head resting firmly on your block. Five more breaths in this posture. And just kind of roll off to the side. Remove your blocks out from underneath you. And we're going to take a reclined side bend here, banana pose. So bring your feet to the right corner of your mat, bump your hips toward the left side of your mat, and then bring your shoulders toward the upper right corner of your mat. So move around so that you feel the stretch in your side, but you're not rolling off to the side, so that your hips can stay flat and your shoulders can stay flat. Now, if you want to deepen the stretch or get a different sensation from the stretch, you can cross one ankle over the other. You can bring your arms up and over your head and take one hand, opposite hand to opposite elbow. Again, just try to keep your shoulder and your hip flat to the floor so that you really feel the stretch along the left side of your body. Continue to maintain your long, slow, steady breaths. You can return to breathing in what you want and exhaling what you want to let go of. right, so we're going to switch sides. So now you're going to bring your feet to the left corner of your mat, your hips to the right edge of your mat, and your shoulders to the left upper corner of your mat. Option again to cross one ankle over the other, to cross opposite hand toward opposite elbow above your head. And just experiment with these options. Once you get into your posture, close your eyes. Try to relax your face and your jaw. Maintain your steady breathing. Release from that side. Now we're going to take supported bridge. So block or blocks. You can bring your feet a little bit wider than hip distance apart. You're going to take your prop, whatever you have available, at whatever height you would like, and place it underneath your sacrum. So please avoid your low back. So don't put your prop in the curve of your low back. Put it on the bony part at the base of your spine. And again, at whatever height you would like, just depends on what you're propping up on. Should feel very little tension in your legs. They're just there to support your balance. And then your arms will rest alongside your body. You can either have your palms facing down, or if you feel really stable and, semi-relaxed here, you can have your palms facing up and your fingers relaxed. See if you can close your eyes, focus on the sound of your breathing. And just a passive way to open the fronts of your hips and your chest. And release down onto your back. Let your knees touch one another. And just take a breath here. And let's prepare for a reclined twist. So I'm going to give you a bunch of options. Pick the one that works best for you. Just drop your knees first to the right. So you can either have your knees stacked or staggered. If your knees are staggered, you can rest your right ankle on top of your left knee. You can have your legs straight for full belly twisting posture. You can have your legs wrapped, kind of like eagle legs. You can hug your knees into your chest, more in a restorative fashion. So pick the twist that works best for you. And make your way to the other side. So bringing your knees to the left, stacked, staggered, straight, wrapped. Close your eyes, long, slow, steady breaths for these final postures of class. And come back to center. Hug both knees into your chest. If you want to have movement here, that's fine. You can just gently rock side to side. Just gonna hold this for a couple more breaths. You can make it as passive or as active as you want, squeezing your knees in tight. Happy baby is always an option too, if you prefer that before shavasana. And prepare yourself for our final posture of class, shavasana. If you have the props and you want to make this restorative, you can always well, it's restorative in nature, but you can always put a blanket over you. You can rest your head on a pillow. You can put a bolster underneath your back. It's cloudy and cozy here, but it is really warm, so I'm not going to put a blanket on top of me, but prepare yourself for a position that's going to feel very, very relaxing and restorative. Move around until you're comfortable, and then once you're comfortable, try to find stillness here. No tension in your body. Let's close our breathing practice with one last deep breath. Breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth. And just return to the natural rhythm of your breath. And just begin to notice the weight of your entire body being supported by the earth. And bring all of your attention to your toes and your feet. Release any tension that you're holding on to in your toes and your feet. And start to notice both legs from your ankles all the way up to your hips. Release, relax both legs, your right leg and your left leg. And just notice your hips and your low back and your low belly. Soften and relax your hips. Your low belly and your low back. Notice all 10 fingers, the palms of your hands, the backs of your hands. Release and relax both hands. Feel the weight of both arms from your wrists all the way up to your shoulders. And soften and relax both arms, your right arm and your left arm. Notice your whole torso, your belly, your ribs, your chest, upper back. Feel the weight and the softness in your whole torso. Relax, release your shoulders, your neck, your throat. And start to notice your entire head, the weight of your head resting on your mat. Feel the back of your head, the top of your head. And now soften and release your face, your chin, your jaw, your cheeks, your eyes, your ears. Relax and release any tension in your forehead. And then just picture your whole body heavy, soft, and relaxed, laying on your mat. Let your thoughts drift by without any attachment to any one thought. Before you come to a seated position, just roll onto one side. You can bring your knees in, cradle your head in your arm. And then just take a final moment here before you come up in gratitude for this practice, thanking yourself for the time and the space that you made for your practice today. And just noticing the difference that you feel now after your practice in your body and in your mind. And slowly press your way up to seated. And bring your hands to your heart. We'll close our practice today by chanting one Om. You can join me or just listen to the sound of Om. Take a deep breath in, preparing yourself for Om. Om. Days go forward, may you have peace in your thoughts, peace in your words, peace in your heart. From my heart to yours, namaste.